Good morning and welcome. I think we're getting ready to start the program today. My name is Tim Sink. I'm president of the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce. Delighted that you are here today. As fate would have it, we have quite a few more people joining us virtually than in person, and so I think you know the drill. They'll be able to participate via the screen over here. So I'm delighted to welcome you to the 15th Annual Pinnacle Awards ceremony. I want to thank you all in advance for following the safety regulations and putting the health of others first. During today's event, we ask that you practice social distancing and keep your face mask on at all times over your mouth and nose. And for those of you watching this event online, thank you for joining us and supporting today's honorees through your chat messages. So for 15 years, the Chamber has recognized outstanding businesses and community leaders through this Pinnacle Awards, many of whom are joining us today. And thanks to the live streaming services provided by Concord TV, we're very grateful for Concord TV for participating. They've been big supporters of the Chamber. This year, our awards ceremony looks a little different, but the significance of this event has not diminished at all. The contributions of our honorees during a year of unprecedented challenges speaks to their professional excellence and dedication to the community. We truly enjoy an abundance of civic engagement in our community, and you can never say thank you enough to the people for their extraordinary efforts that they make to build this first-class community. And that's part of why we're here today, to thank many volunteers, people like you folks, who serve on chamber committees, or on nonprofit boards, or as elected leaders, or at homeless shelters, food pantries, soup kitchens. The list goes on and on. So we are a better community for it, and I thank you. In addition to the Pinnacle Awards today, we will also recognize the recipient of the W. Grant McIntosh Award and honor the Concord Young Professional of the Year. But first, I would like to thank our sponsors who made this event possible, Eversource Energy Services and Sanel Napa. Events like these would not be possible without their generous support. So please join me in showing our appreciation. We're grateful for their help. Thank you. Business New Hampshire Magazine is our media sponsor. Granite State Candy provided some treats on the table. Marshall's Florist created the table centerpieces. Echo Communications, Inc. is our print sponsor, and I would like to again give thanks to Concord TV for live streaming this awards ceremony. So, the W. Grant McIntosh Award. This is presented to an individual who goes above and beyond the call of duty as a volunteer for the Chamber. The award is given in honor of Grant McIntosh. Grant served both on the Chamber board, and then during a kind of a rocky time in the Chamber many years ago, he served as interim president. He was an inspiration to everybody that knew him. He would do anything for the Chamber, and so we came up with this award some years ago. And it is my pleasure to present this award to Jaime Simoes of Lewis Carno & Company, Communications, LLC. Jaime, if you come up and join us at this podium. So Jaime is an active member of the Chamber's Board of Directors, and he's the force behind the Chamber's visitconcordnh.com initiative. This is a website and social media presence to promote Concord as a travel destination. Jaime established this site some years ago, and it's now currently receiving 6,000 to 9,000 visitors monthly, and it promotes Concord Chamber members and Concord businesses and points of interest here. Jaime has connected the Chamber to travel writers over the past several years, and his work this year in particular helped highlight local restaurants who provided takeout service, curbside pickup, and more during the crucial beginning phases of COVID-19. Jaime has also served as co-chair of the Chamber's Creative Concord Committee for several years, contributing to projects like the Chamber's Public Art Initiative. He even provided hands-on support to bring this project to fruition, working in, I recall, kind of a nasty rainstorm to help us set up the dance sculptures in front of the Capitol Center for the Arts. Jaime has also shared his public relations expertise quite liberally at the Chamber, and has hosted seminars and been a speaker at seminars on topics such as search engine optimization and the effective use of social media and He is presented at Leadership Greater Concord. In grateful service of recognition above and beyond the call of duty and ongoing commitment to the Chamber, please welcome James Samos to the podium to accept the 2020 W. Grant McIntosh Award.
Well, thank you, Tim. I want to first off thank you for your leadership, thank my fellow board members, thank everybody on the Creative Economy Task Force, and all the volunteers, and most of all the staff of this chamber. This is not the first chamber I've served on the board of, but I'll tell you, it is the best. This is an organization that really looks forward, that sees what's not just good for the business community, but what is good for the community at large, and that makes me very happy. It's been a real honor to work to help make Concord a destination on people's lists. It's been a tremendous honor to help engage with the creative economy in our city, and now to rethink about how we can get people to look at our city as a place to invest and to live. And none of this would have been possible without the just wonderful leadership and warmth of the board, of the chamber staff, and of all the members. It is a very fulfilling organization to be a part of, and I am deeply honored, and I look forward to more years of service. So thank you.
Thank you for your service, John. John is someone who never says no, thinks outside the box, and he is always willing to roll up his sleeves and help out at any time. So really appreciate it. On behalf of the Chamber Board and all our staff members, we greatly appreciate it. So thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
It's now my pleasure to recognize the Concord Young Professional of the Year, Phil Sletton of the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute. This award is given to a Concord young professional who demonstrates professional excellence in their field, is committed to the Greater Concord community, and is actively engaged in young professional activities. As Senior Policy Analyst for the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute, Phil researches and informs public debate on policy issues, particularly state budget and revenue policies and their effects on low and middle income families. Phil does a great job of not only educating his peers and writing reports for the public, but he's presented at the Chamber's own annual Legislative Outlook Forum and has spoken on New Hampshire Public Radio's The Exchange numerous times, co-presented SIPN's Budget on Tap exercise with the Concord Coalition, and helped coordinate the SIPN Civics Meet Your Legislators event. Phil is extremely dedicated volunteer and community leader. He served SIPN as a steering committee member for almost 3 years. He oversaw the overhaul of the organization bylaws and was a steady voice of leadership. He coined the phrase friendless fifth, a reference to the more than 20% of young people in New Hampshire who responded to a Stay, Work, Play New Hampshire survey saying that they didn't have a single friend within driving distance. This became a passion project for Phil and the whole SIPN team, inciting the program to broaden marketing efforts, attract event attendees from the towns outside of Concord, and diversify the programming to include health and wellness, hiking, civics education, and nonprofit leadership to reach people who might not attend a typical monthly networking event. Phil was also recently appointed as a board chair of Community Bridges after serving on their board since 2017. Phil is a terrific asset to the Greater Concord community, and his knowledge and kind approach to nonpartisan fiscal policy education is both refreshing and critical to our success as a society. Whether Phil is talking to a state legislator, a news anchor, or a shy newcomer to a SIPN event, he is a friendly, personable, and puts you at ease and makes you feel welcome. It is my pleasure to present Phil Sletton with the Concord Young Professional of the Year Award. You may be asking, where the heck is Phil? Well, Phil is traveling out of state, but he's actually joining us online today. But we asked him to record some brief remarks for us to play during today's event. So please bring your attention to the screen where we will be playing a short video.
I am humbled by the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce's decision to recognize me as the Young Professional of the Year. Given how many great candidates for the title quickly come to my mind, I can only conclude that you must have enjoyed not having to put up with me in person for much of this year due to the pandemic. I have big shoes to fill with this title, as those that have come before me were and are active and engaged members of the Concord community, and their contributions have made and will continue to make Concord an even better place to live, work, and play for years to come. I want to thank the Chamber in particular for the Concord Young Professionals Network. As a 24-year-old who very intentionally came back to his home state to work on public policy, SIPN was a fantastic way for me to meet new friends, make connections, and find professional and volunteer opportunities and needs. It's also important for Concord's future. The relationships formed through SIPN create connections that help build trust within the rising generation of leaders, which is critical to the goodwill, charity, and bonds that are foundational elements of a flourishing community. SIPN represents an investment in both the short-term and long-term health of Greater Concord, which, quite simply, benefits everyone. So thank you to the Chamber, not just for this recognition, but for taking that extra step to invest in Concord's future.
So if you're still online with us, that was really good. I think he had a teleprompter up there. I could use one of those. So to present the 15th Annual Pinnacle Awards, please welcome to the podium my boss, the chair of the Greater Concord Chamber of Commerce, Leslie Walker. And I think we're going to go over this.
Hello, everybody. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm going to take off my mask because I think I'm the only person going to be using this microphone for the rest of this event. So, as you know, the tradition of recognizing an individual for excellence is not a new one. And although we honor the Citizen of the Year at the annual meeting, hundreds of members contribute so much time to the Chamber and our community throughout the year. It's a distinct honor to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of our Chamber members and business leaders today. The Pinnacle Awards recognizes 3 businesses in the following categories: small business, nonprofit business, and business of the year. Additionally, an individual is recognized as Business Leader of the Year for demonstrating significant contributions to the community. To be considered, each nominee must actively support Chamber initiatives and be an outstanding and engaged member of our community. We are truly fortunate to live in a community that is home to so many possible nominees. Our panel of judges would agree. And I would like to thank this year's selection committee, who were Pinnacle Award recipients in the last year. So we have Michael Herman from Gibson's Bookstore, Ryan Barton from Mainstay Technologies, and Josh Hardy of Concord TV, and Rosemary Hurd of Catch Neighborhood Housing. All right, so now it's my pleasure to present the recipients. The 15th Annual Pinnacle Small Business of the Year Award is presented to the Works Cafe, represented today by its manager, Don Brueggemann. You want to come up? You can. So you get to stand there shyly while I praise you. All right, so the Works Cafe in Concord was established in 1994 as the 4th restaurant in a unique franchise, which many of you know originally as Bagel Works. Although this restaurant is still renowned for its freshly made bagels, as time went on, they expanded their menu to include sandwiches, wraps, and salads. The name changed to the Works Cafe, reflecting this shift to offering more than just breakfast items, but also highlights how this restaurant serves as a community hub in downtown Concord. Housed in the new Phoenix Hall, rebuilt in 1895 after a devastating fire, it's fair to brag that the Works Cafe in Concord has the most unique location of any other restaurant in the franchise. This restaurant has carefully preserved the original tin ceilings and brick walls, while creating a cozy atmosphere for our community to connect with this historically significant building. One of the best things about this small business is how they have continued writing history in this historic site. it's not uncommon to stumble upon community members discussing local politics with Mayor Boulay or catch sight of the Attorney General picking up a coffee. Phoenix Hall was known for hosting presidential candidates such as Abraham Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt. The Works Cafe has continued this tradition by serving candidates during New Hampshire's presidential primary season, including President-elect Joe Biden, who chatted casually with customers this past winter. The staff of the Works Cafe is also regularly involved in the wider community. During Concord's well-known Pedaling for Payson event, staff serve coffee and bagels to racers. They provide food for volunteers helping with New Hampshire's public radio fundraising campaigns, donate trays of bagels to each polling location in Concord during every election, donate gift cards to local fundraisers, and support countless efforts and nonprofits in our community. The Works Cafe also encourages its staff to get involved in the community by paying for volunteer hours and encouraging civic engagement by providing lunch on election days for staff members who vote. The Works Cafe also supports its community on a more fundamental level by serving locally sourced food. This effort to support local farmers has always been a foundation stone in the restaurant's mission. And today, when you purchase a breakfast sandwich, you can feel great knowing that you have supported egg farmers in Monroe, New Hampshire. Give yourself permission to treat yourself to a delicious brownie because they're made in Walpole, New Hampshire. You'll also notice seasonal veggies incorporated into the menu, giving your salad or wrap a unique New England flavor. You may not have thought about it before, but ever wonder where all those locally sourced veggie scraps go? The Works Cafe has a unique waste management system that makes every effort to keep items out of landfills. This small business took the initiative to reduce their environmental impact and worked with the city to set up a recycling-specific dumpster behind the building. Coffee and veggie scraps are composted and used in a farm in Kentucky, New Hampshire. Bagels are donated to the soup kitchen. In recent years, the Works Cafe has transitioned by using paper straws and bioplastic plates, cups, and cutlery that decompose over time. Staff educates customers on sorting their trash into 3 categories so that it can be properly recycled and disposed of, and asks questions like, do you need a napkin, before providing unnecessary items that would normally get tossed in a landfill. The Works Cafe is a founding member of Green Concord and strives to continue reducing its environmental footprint every day. I would be remiss if I didn't note the Works Cafe outstanding work during the COVID-19 pandemic to keep its doors open and support its staff. This small business immediately transitioned into takeout services and rapidly set up an efficient online ordering system. There's even a Works Cafe app that you can easily download onto your smartphone. The Works Cafe also implemented mask wearing, gloves, and set up plexiglass barriers to protect their customers and staff. It was disheartening to see the Works Cafe unable to serve the community as a gathering place during the initial stay-at-home orders issued by Governor Sununu. But their cheerful innovation and flexibility was a reminder that things would one day get back to normal, and we would once again connect with friends over a cup of coffee and a fresh bagel at this beloved community epicenter. It is my pleasure to award the Works Cafe with the Pinnacle Small Business of the Year Award, presented today to its manager, Don Brueggemann.
Thank you, Leslie. Some of you may remember that when Eagle Square first opened, there were several boutiques, including one shop that sold I Heart Concord t-shirts. I'm not sure I'd ever wear one, but the fact is, I do heart Concord, New Hampshire. A lot. How could you not? It has so many of the amenities of a larger city, and yet it still has a small town vibe. From its great trail system to its neighborhoods and downtown, it has almost everything I need. It would be easy to think that Concord is just that way. But you and I know that it has taken the work of many people over years and decades and generations. Sometimes it takes the work and vision of someone like Duncan McGowan, But most of the time, it just takes the combined effort of so many folks who just get up every day and do their thing. A business is similar. Lots of folks each doing what they do to make it go. So I want to thank all of you for making Concord the great place that it is every day. And I want to thank my staff for making the Works Cafe an integral part of the Concord community. Thank you.
I feel like we're going to have a applause machine for the next time we do this, because we can't make enough noise to kind of show our appreciation to these businesses, but we'll do our best. So the 15th Annual Pinnacle Business of the Year Award is presented to the Common Man of Concord, represented today by owner and founder Alex Ray. Alex, would you like to come up? Although the Common Man in Concord restaurant was built in 2000, the Common Man has had a presence in Concord since 1987, when the Capital City Diner was established in the old Howard Johnson's restaurant. The restaurant you see on that location today was built in the style of an old New England home and barn, and offers a comfortable lounge, pub, deck areas, cozy dining with crackling fireplaces, and private event rooms for functions that are usually booked solid. As part of the Common Man family, the Concord restaurant abides by the values guiding this independently owned hospitality business: to provide stellar customer service, honest food, and do good in the community. The Common Man family has supported community efforts in New Hampshire since it began 50 years ago this November. Restaurant managers are encouraged to organize fundraisers. Staff are paid for volunteer work, and a common effort fund supports those in need of New Hampshire and nationally, most notably providing $108,000 in aid for victims of Hurricane Katrina. This year, the Common Man was undeniably hit hard by COVID-19, but continued to put their community first in the face of every challenge. To support their furloughed staff, who they refer to as STARS, the Common Man began providing daily family-sized meals for STARS households, extended health benefits, and provided funds for groceries and baby supplies through an employee emergency assistance fund. The Common Man also partnered with the New Hampshire Lodging and Restaurant Association to provide one-time grants for fellow hospitality workers across the state. Though the Common Man was only able to serve takeout orders for several weeks, their minimal staff and dedicated management team worked tirelessly to continue providing exceptional services to the customers. They surprised patrons with bundles of their famous crackers, cheese, and dip with every order, and snuck hand-packed pints of Common Man ice cream into takeaway bags. They created family-sized portions of more popular entree items as take-and-bake meals for families to prepare at home, and launched a Feed It Forward initiative, which invited takeout guests to make a donation that would directly fund meals for those in need. For every $10 collected, they prepared and delivered 2 home-cooked meals in coordination with the Friendly Kitchen and other local agencies. The Common Man's work didn't end there. They provided healthcare workers and first responders with 50% meal discounts, and donated meals to local hospitals to feed doctors and nurses who were working around the clock. To recognize teachers and families adapting to remote learning, they offered a Teacher Appreciation Week, Kids Eat Free Week, and collaborated with the Tiger program at Plymouth State University to create educational videos for parents to use at home. They worked with New Hampshire artist Stacy Lucas to create colorful signs with uplifting messages and posted them near their restaurants. On your drives along South Main, these signs reading, "Spread love," and "This too shall pass," may have given you comfort in a time of uncertainty. The Common Man also fired up their antique trolley to use as a mask mobile in partnership with New Hampshire Rotary Clubs to deliver reusable and washable cloth masks free to Granite State residents. Not only has the Common Man been an outstanding community supporter in the best of times, but they also took every challenge this pandemic has presented as an opportunity to be innovative, creative, and work hard to support their staff, guests, and community. It is my pleasure to present the Common Man Concord with the Pinnacle Business of the Year Award. Accepting on behalf of the Common Man, Alex Ray.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know. I don't have a teleprompter, but I'd like to get one. I wonder if that's an app. 50 years. Wow, it just blows my mind. 1971 in Ashland. But bringing it home to here, you took half of my thing about the Capital City Diner and stuff, but that's fun to think back to the Howard Johnsons that was there in the famous Thunderbird Room. If anybody remember the Thunderbird Room? You don't want to. So we took it over and made it the Capital City Diner just because I thought that Howard Johnson's was a kind of a roadside diner, so we tried to make it feel more like one. But then in later years, they being everyone kept shrinking the property. They widened 93, so we lost the back parking because the toe of the slope. Then they took made a mess because of the new intersection with the Gulf Station and 2 houses left, and we lost that for parking on the north side. And the south, that was called, I think it's now called Gulf Street or something. Then they cut off the exit and cut the south end of our parking lot. Oh, and the first one was they widened Market Street, so we had no parking in the front yard. So the state of New Hampshire, when they built the higher thing, those weren't in order, the ones I just mentioned, but they had to widen the slope, so they were going to just take that property out and plant bushes out there. And I said, no, I think I can build a restaurant in the same space, but go up instead of out, because Hojo's was a big footprint. And I did some research and found out that there was a ferry that went across the river right there before bridges were made. And so there was a place called the Ferry Tavern that was there that looked like a 2-story colonial building. And I tried to sort of make that the look and also use the space. And they said, you can't fit it there, and you can't dig in the dirt because it's contaminated with the gas plant and benzene and all that stuff. So I said, we'll use the old Hojo's foundation for the building. So we built the building up instead of out, and it worked. We're still short for parking, but I'm very proud of our team, and that was 1987, and then from there on we have changed it a little bit. I wanted to mention the mask program, and Tim Sink, I came in and had one of our masks on. And that was pretty cool because we did 19 towns with the Rotaries of New Hampshire. We did it in Plymouth the first time, and then for 6 weeks we did 19 towns and 70,000 masks we gave away, using each Rotary, including Concord, for a distribution. And it was just such a positive thing. Everybody was happy, getting them, giving them, and using them. And that was just a wonderful thing. We'd go every time and set it up with them and then stay for about an hour, and if it worked, so we had all the materials, and that was fun. I just wanted to say, about the signs on the roads, that was a lot of fun. We made those sort of various size signs, just giving a positive influence to people, and it was early on. So actually Concord was the first thing that the papers put up. I was driving where we live up in Plymouth, and this young little girl put little grade stakes with little paper signs on it that said good things. And I said, we should do that. That's perfect. And so nothing is original. I just knocked off an idea. And we did it all over the place. And it gave, when this COVID, oh, my phone is ringing. Isn't that nice? Can I take this call? No. So that was Annie Custer. Should I take it anyway? Anyway, made the signs. I forget exactly where I was, but they went over very well, and this little girl was the inspiration of it. And MU, our union leader guy, took a picture early, and that was on the front page of your Concord Monitor. It was pretty fun. And now lots of people, families have them in their front yard and stuff, and we enjoyed that trip. I want to thank you for this award. When somebody called me, it might have been you, I don't know, and said, what was happening? I said, no, like, why us? We haven't done anything. But then Erica helped me realize it comes down to a lot of things. The most recent one was a barbecue in the arena across the street for the coalition of homeless up here for Ellen Freeze, and that was really fun, and the money went to them, and we were working on it with the guy that did it. That's kind of all I can think of to say, except thank you. We love our company. When this year hasn't been a lot of fun, but we've tried to, first of all, save our staff through the efforts that you mentioned, and then try to save our brand by the signs and doing good things for people and giving them some extras, and they supported us, and we're still in business, and I don't like the little trend that's happening recently, nor do any of us, but we stick it out, and we just have to adjust. We can't change the wind, so we adjust our sails, is what I say. And a lot of adjustments that have been made, but we're survivors, and thanks for the help for the public. Thank you. I will try to flow better if I ever do this by looking for a teleprompter. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving. Okay. See if I don't touch it.
Yeah.
Nice smile.
Smile with your eyes.
That's right. Okay, thank you. So, our 15th Annual Pinnacle Nonprofit Business of the Year is presented to Concord Regional Visiting Nurses Association, represented today by President and CEO Beth Slepian. So, Concord Regional Visiting Nurses Association, or CRNVA, hopefully I can get that right through the whole thing, was incorporated in Concord in 1899 and has served the Greater Concord region for over 120 years, providing health and wellness services through all stages of life. Today, CRVNA offers home care, hospice care, palliative care, personal home services, pediatric and maternal child care services, and wellness programming. CRVNA is the state's largest health and hospice care provider, with more than 400 clinicians and staff serving an average of more than 8,000 Granite State residents every year. The staff's exemplary service to the community is guided by their values: respect, compassion, competence, culture of excellence, leadership, and stewardship, which shows through their work with patients, families, community members, volunteers, fellow staff members, and supporters. In 1994, CRVNA established New Hampshire's first hospice house on Pleasant Street in Concord. This initiative provides patients who are terminally ill and their loved ones with a comfortable place to call home, with skilled 24-hour care. CRVNA also established the annual Hospice Lights of Life program, which offers the opportunity to remember loved ones and friends and illuminates the vital role of hospice care in New Hampshire. It's hard to miss the 1,440 lights of life candles displayed in over 160 businesses throughout the Greater Concord area every December. This program has run for 25 years and raised over $1 million, supporting 900 patients each year in 44 communities. CRVNA's exceptional hospice care has helped families in the Concord region navigate end of life with compassion and dignity for decades. Hospice patients not only receive nursing care, but are given individualized treatment that may include emotional support, companionship, and spiritual care. Support is also given to the patient's caregivers, who are often family and loved ones. Volunteers play a key role in CRVNA's hospice care and other services. The agency works with over 130 volunteers, and volunteer coordinator Lisa Challenger was recently named Outstanding Volunteer Manager of the Year during the 2019 Governor's Conference on Volunteerism. This is not the only award CRVNA, that one was actually typed, staff has received for their outstanding services to the community. Kelly Ann Totten, Chief Officer of Community Engagement, was honored by New Hampshire Business Review with the 2019 Business Excellent Award in Healthcare category for large organizations, and Andrea Patrick Boudet, Chief Clinical Officer, received the Home Care and Hospice Service Award by the Home Care, Hospice, and Palliative Care Alliance of New Hampshire for significant contributions to home health and hospice in the Granite State. It's clear that CRVNA has cultivated exemplary staff, and their dedication to the organization is worthy of recognition. This is evident in the number of employees, nearly 100, who have worked for the agency for 10 years or more, including a recently retired LNA who served for 41 years. The important role of healthcare workers in our community was only made more evident this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. CRVNA adapted their home care to follow state and CDC guidelines, ensuring the safety of patients, staff, and the broader community. This organization also saw a need to shift their programming and began offering resources for families facing limited or no in-person contact with loved ones. CRVNA quickly launched no-cost online programming that addresses topics like coping with isolation, life after loss, and a virtual gathering for individuals experiencing memory impairment. The scope of CRVNA's community benefits is astounding. In 2019, CRVNA provided more than $5 million through health clinics, community building activities, education programs, health professional education, charity care, and more. CRVNA continues to seek out ways to better serve our community, most recently by announcing its intent to merge with Central New Hampshire VNA and Hospice. This merger will expand CRVNA's services to reach 83 communities in Central New Hampshire. This nonprofit's impact on our community is inspirational and has earned a trust, respect, and appreciation from our community that is generations deep. It is my pleasure to present Concord Regional Visiting Nurses Association with the Pinnacle Nonprofit Business of the Year Award. Accepting on behalf of CRVNA is Beth Slepian.
Thank you. I don't think I have anything to add because I think Leslie did cover our 120 years of service, but I did want to thank the Chamber, the Selection Committee, and congratulations to all of the other Pinnacle Award winners for 2020. What a year. You know, when we began 2020, we were celebrating 120 years of service to the community. We thought we would be celebrating. We were incorporated in 1899, and we provided health, education, and end-of-life care through the Depression, war and peace times, pandemics such as the Spanish flu in 1918. Little did we know that we would be on the front lines of another pandemic and returning to our roots in public health. I accept this honor on behalf of the more than 400 clinical and administrative employees who have truly been on the front lines of the COVID-19 public health crisis. Each day, they have continued to provide in-person, skilled, and compassionate care to our most vulnerable population. Thank you to our Board of Trustees, volunteers, and donors who continue to support our not-for-profit mission. Without the support of the community, we wouldn't be able to achieve our mission. We're very proud to continue this tradition. Thank you.
Okay, the 15th Annual Pinnacle Business Leader of the Year Award is presented to Christopher Emmond of the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. Please come on up. Christopher Emmond's work has had a dramatic impact on the Concord community, capital area, and Lakes region. As Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire, he has worked tirelessly and with enormous success to improve the accessibility of safe and affordable childcare. This essential work allows thousands of parents and caretakers to serve in our state's workforce and supports the next generation of New Hampshire residents to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. Chris took his current role at the Boys and Girls Club in 2000 after serving as Executive Director of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Manchester. Back then, the club was simply Concord Boys and Girls Club and was dependent on federal grants making up 45% of its annual budget. Chris successfully enacted a strategic plan to create self-sufficiency for the organization. He pioneered a weekly fee-for-service model, which still allowed the majority of after-school program members to receive financial assistance. Some of these members paid as little as $5 a week, but this membership revenue has allowed the club to weather significant challenges and gives parents and caretakers a sense of ownership in the program. Chris also established an individual giving initiative, which has raised millions in unrestricted funds and introduced hundreds of new volunteers and donors to the club. When Chris began work at the Concord Boys and Girls Club, the organization had 8 staff members and an annual budget of $1.1 million. Today, the organization has over 80 staff members and a budget of $8 million. Part of Chris's work to expand accessibility of child care services included geographic expansion of the club. In 2015, the Concord Boys and Girls Club merged with the Boys and Girls Club of the Lakes region, forming the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. Since this merger, the Lakes region site membership has grown by 500%. Today, the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire operates 23 sites in 14 towns and serves over 1,200 kids. Chris's exceptional leadership has allowed the club to expand into underserved communities while encouraging each site to retain its unique history and connection to the community it serves. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Central New Hampshire offers a variety of child care and youth development programs serving all ages of youth from infants through grade 12. Their curriculum works to further the development and education of our community's children, incorporating the arts, educational enrichment, leadership development, life skills, and technology into their daily programming. The club even serves 4,000 snacks and hot meals every month to families in our community. But the real impact of this club is seen through the individual lives of our community's children. 2010 studies showed that 66% of New Hampshire Boys and Girls Club alumni say that the club saved their lives. 85% of current club members say that there's an adult in the club they can turn to in a crisis. In 2020, the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire truly showed that they could support our community in a crisis. Under Chris's leadership, the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire was able to bring back its entire staff 2 weeks after the initial wave of COVID-19 pandemic closed the club's door. Chris applied for emergency status so that the centers could serve children of essential workers during a time of crisis and secured federal and state funding to ensure the club could remain open. He also opened 4 soup kitchens, providing meals for those in need during the pandemic, and served our state on behalf of the entire child care industry through his work on the New Hampshire Reopening Task Force. Chris's work on the day and overnight camp subcommittee was instrumental to creating guidelines that ensured children's safety and allowed parents and caretakers to return to work during the pandemic. Chris has also served our community outside of his role at the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. He is on the board of the Granite United Way and serves on their Merrimack County Development Committee. He also serves on the advisory board for NHTI and has volunteered for the Rotary Club for 18 years. He's dedicated to the community, in particular to the families and caretakers who rely on safe and affordable childcare, has strengthened the entire business community in our region and impacted our next generation of leaders. His influence on this region will be felt for generations. It is my pleasure to present Chris Emmon with the Pinnacle Business Leader of the Year Award.
That's actually the hardest part of being up here, is listening to that. But thank you very much for that nice introduction. And, congratulations to all the other recipients. There's a little bit of a theme going there with gathering places and the V&A going out there and doing outreach to people who, quite honestly, may not see another soul the entire week other than the visiting nurse that's going out there. The pandemic has been a challenge for everybody, but I think the biggest thing is when you're kind of the whole gathering, and we're humans, we want to gather together as people. It's kind of nice to even be in a room today with some other people and talking face to face for a change. And the 2 other recipients do that. They're kind of our watering holes. We go there to hang out and see each other and shoot the breeze. And luckily we still have that. I mean, because in post-pandemic, that's what we're looking forward to being able to get back and do. But very fundamentally with the Boys and Girls Club and why it was so important for us to remain open was just that. I mean, you can imagine these kids stuck at home the entire time and not being able to see their friends. And some of the feedback we got from parents are like, man, we are so happy you're open. There's the obvious, I've got to go to work, there's all this other stuff. But some of the stuff you forget about is that very basic need to be able to see their friends and hang out and just kind of have a good time. I just want to thank, there's so many people to thank, but really the staff, I mean, all the stuff you read, I'm not doing any of that. It's the staff they're writing the grants. They're writing the guidelines. They're the ones that are turning on a dime and trying to figure out how to open in a couple days after I just said, I think we need to be open again. It's all easy for me to say that and the board to back that. But the staff actually have to figure out how are we actually going to do this during a pandemic and do it in a safe manner and build credibility with the parents that they'll go to the club. So many of those staff members have been with us the entire time I've been here, and I'm very thankful for that because I count on them every day. I also want to thank the board because, again, it's not just I'm sitting there at my desk trying to figure out what to do. As a nonprofit, and the V&A is the same way, we're lucky enough to have people that basically are free advisors for us around the table. Really, truly, our problems become their problems, and you really feel genuinely supported, and it makes the decision-making during a pandemic so much easier. Big decisions like, are we going to be open? Are we going to expose people to potential risk here by doing that? And to have board members and doctors and other people that we have on the boards, helping us with those decisions was huge. So it's nice to get the recognition, but it really is on behalf of the entire organization, our board and all of the staff. And can't forget about the parents either, because they're ultimately the ones that decide to send their kids to us, and we're very thankful for that. But thanks, and have a great day.
Well, Leslie, thank you. You had the heavy lifting at the podium today. I want to thank you all for coming out, and again, thank you for all the great work that our recipients did, have been doing and are continuing to do in good times and bad, and I really appreciate that you made the effort to come and be with us today and give us a chance to spread some good news for a change. Typically, this would be a luncheon event with about 300 people in the room, but we weren't able to serve you lunch today. We didn't think that was going to be a good idea, but don't forget there are gift cards on the table, so you can go out to lunch at the Common Man at your convenience and enjoy that. So thank you again, everybody, for coming. It's great to see people face to face again. Enjoy the rest of your day.